is the date. There's the court they're about to get on. We get to see live action as they are set to scrimmage. So, Angel, what are you looking forward to in this scrimmage?
Effort. I mean, do you really want a roster spot for those that are, participating in this? Angel Jackson will get to see her running, with this group as well. So it's going to be fun just to see how they, compete. But at this point, I just want to see competing. That's what this is all about right now.
Like sometimes you got to figure it out. So that's what we're lower. Wide open for that back screen. I thought you're bored there when you give it up to
Looks like Natalie ncaaw will actually be the coach for the one group. I think it's the black group.
If you don't,
had the second game, actually, if you're going back to last season, where she coached that second game with Becky Hammon being out for the first two. And it was really special to see how the team came and rallied behind her. These are the moments that they have the confidence to step in and coach and have those opportunities. And seeing this with this group now is going to be fun.
she's passing right to you. She's throwing it to you. You set the back pick. She throws it to you. No, you set the back pick, and then you're going to come here, and then Megan's going to hit you, and then we're in our regular. It's just screener action. But we just put A in this corner because we want to look at that one first. If she bumps like that, then KP should be open coming off.
It's 1 through 3 red.
Yes. Oh, it might be 4. Who do they got?
They got Angel P in for me.
Yeah. 1 through 4. 1 through 3 red. Okay. Defensively, let's just make sure we're talking. Let's just be solid down there. Okay, solid. Okay, and finish with the board, and then y'all know what to do offensively. Get out, run, and share.
Together on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Together.
To see this show get on a roll, right? I'm really excited about, seeing these two teams go after it. But I think we've talked a lot, Chris, about, the 4 draft picks in this season. We've seen Deasia Fair, we've seen Angel Jackson, Kate Martin as well, but also Elizabeth Kitley, drafted in this second round, coming out of Virginia Tech. I know Kenny Brooks is really excited for her. It was really unfortunate to see her go down in her last regular season game after coming off of a season where they had a lot of history, going to the, the program's first Final Four, also winning the ACC championship. But to see her learning and at the end of the bench right now with Asia Wilson's group, Chelsea Gray was also, I think we might see more coaching from her, obviously, today with her sitting out participating. But for her to learn from these players at this point, knowing that it is going to be a season that's deferred. So we want to see her this year as she's rehabbing and getting back from that ACL injury. She said she had a successful surgery, so we'll be just sending our, condolences and just really excited to see her back on the floor at some point, but a great organization to learn from.
And there are those all-stars on the floor. Of course, Chelsea Gray, the one not practicing today, but Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, all in gray. A rare miss from Jackie Young.
From one 6th player of the year to another, from one first-round pick to another. I mean, the weapons that this team has is just limitless. And I know that in our next break, hopefully we'll be able to hear from Carolyn Peck, who has been with this franchise, understands what this team has looked like over the past few seasons, as champions. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this experience has been like for her, seeing their growth as a group together.
Carolyn Peck joins us now, the analyst for the Las Vegas Aces. And first and foremost, thank you for spending some time with us. And what we're trying to figure out here is what Becky Hammon, being her eyes and ears right now, what she's looking at.
Well, she's just looking at the chemistry. She's also looking at just the rotations and what's going to be good for whom. She's also got to trim down the roster. So who's going to fill that 9, 10, 11, 12 spot?
You talked about filling that depth. That was something that we have talked about. Nikki Fargas said, what is the depth going to look like for this group as well? Megan Gustafson and her contract with this group. Just showing very early what that can be like with the Aces. What are some things that you're excited about seeing in her moments in the training camp?
Well, Angel, for the last 2 seasons, the starting 5 been top in the league, and then the Aces were last in bench production. So when you bring in a player like Megan Gustafson, who is a 6'5" post player, who can stretch the defense and shoot the 3, and in talking to Becky Hammon, one of the things that she really loves about Megan is how angry or aggressively she goes after rebounds. And remember, last year she had a heck of a game against the Aces, so that was a great audition for what she could contribute to Las Vegas.
I'm just going to go back a little bit because I know that we can't see you on camera right now. To most, you're probably Carolyn Peck. To me, you're champ. So just so excited that you can have this moment with us. I know that you have been on the call for the Aces, and just over the years, I know that we've talked about the women that are trying to get a spot on this roster. But to see over the past few years them going back to back, and it was not something that was very easy for them last season, dealing with injury. They had adversity to start this season. How special really was that last run?
Oh my gosh, Angel. Okay, so when they made the run of their first championship and Becky brought in that three-point threat, everybody had the green light from 3. And in talking to her of what this team needed to go back-to-back, they needed to up their defense. So you saw that elevation on the defensive side, but then when it got to the finals and you're down 2 starters, what that demonstrated to me was the chemistry and the readiness of every player on this team. Players that didn't get a lot of minutes during the regular season, even in the playoffs, in that Game 4 came in and really showed how they were paying attention. They stayed ready. Sydney Colson.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when she came in defensively, Kayla George, and what she came in shooting the 3, a big girl, that was huge.
Alysha Clark also coming in, and I mean, Brianna Stewart had 10 points. At that point, I just feel like even her part, everyone was dialed in, not to just what they could do and how it got them there to being the #1 scoring offense in the WNBA, but also how they had to get it done defensively. And I thought that was a special thing watching the documentary.
And the preparation that these women put in. Yeah, you expect the 5 starters. They're going to be locked in, know the scouting report, everybody. Sydney Colson gets a special scout from Tyler Marsh, and because she saw Alysha Clark saw Sydney do that, Alysha Clark doing that too. Like, everybody wants to be in tune and know how they can help each other. That servant mentality that these players have, I think, played a lot in them being able to win back-to-back championships.
It's so interesting to watch the communication here between Becky Hammon and what she's trying to drill. There was an interesting back and forth with Jackie Young there. She's like, no, this is what we're doing in this situation. And that's why you have these coaches.
Well, there's a trust. between Becky and her players, and you will see her ask them, what do you see or what are you feeling on the court? Or they trust that she is seeing something that can help them, and so they trust each other, and that's why that communication has been such a valuable component of their success.
So where were you during the parade again? You were at the parade, correct?
I was not at the parade this
no.
year. I was at the first one. I couldn't make the second one.
So what I do want to ask is just when you're watching the community selling out season tickets before the season begins, we're coming off of a year where you have a new facility and establishment. Now you're seeing how other franchises, Seattle now having their brand new facility, where everyone is upping the ante, right, within the WNBA.
Well, let me tell you, the first season when Nikki Fargas asked me to do the broadcast for the Las Vegas Aces, she said to me, we're going to shut down Las Vegas Boulevard after we win a championship. Now, they did it in the first year, and I was here for that parade. They shut down one side of the street, but before the parade was over, fans came over the barrier. And, you know, people said, well, there's going to be a lot of tourists that are, no, these were Las Vegas folks that support this team. And now to see the sellouts that have already happened, it's because just like when you come to Vegas, you come to see a show, you see a show every time you see the Aces.
You know, Carolyn, another thing that I want to address is over the past 2 years, there's been some type of way for the back-to-back champs now to have some type of chip on their shoulder. The first year with Chelsea Gray not being on the All-Star team, Commissioner Cup MVP, getting the finals MVP as well. She just erupted during the finals. And then you see A'ja Wilson in this last season. I know that we mentioned the 4th place vote, but just watching everything that she's done, she said, I am constantly being that person where I have to prove what I am worth, not just for myself, but also to the league and others out there. Can you please express what that looks like? I think we have to take a break. Everyone's walking to the side, but remember this question, please.
We've had some great moments here already at Real Training Camp as they've scrimmaged for a few minutes. You got 20 points on the board and some great action. A'ja Wilson and company. I say in company, yeah. 2 other #1 overall picks, 4 All-Stars on this roster. Any All-Star joining us now, Carolyn Peck. Great to have you on.
Oh, it's great to be with you guys. Let me tell you, I can't wait for the summer to get started and to be able to be at training camp to see really how the sausage is made is a lot of fun.
I love that you said that. We saw them actually going through drills, setting up what we're going to see in the scrimmage as well. I know that you were sitting in the back taking everything in. I feel like this is a lot like a real practice for Becky as well, and we've seen a lot of defense implemented to start.
Well, that's going to be vital this season. When you look at the movement across the league, teams have made Seattle, Phoenix, Atlanta. You always have to contend with Connecticut, the size of Dallas. So defense is going to be, look, this Aces team, they can score the ball. I mean, when you've got inside A'ja Wilson and the shooters in the backcourt with Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Jackie Young, like they know they can score. Defense is going to be a premium.
Now we talk about the history of the league. Great pass, great move that girl from Kate Martin.
Smart is Kate Martin.
Yes.
That's one of the things that I think this organization really liked about drafting Kate Martin, pulling her out of the stands at the draft. And it's because of how she thinks the game.
That was one thing that I was telling Chris earlier. We were watching her and how she was teamed up with A'ja Wilson to start. And I was like, what an amazing opportunity. Not just that she's worked with Caitlin Clark and understanding the when and where she needs to be, but learning also from Becky Hammon. Great size around the perimeter. And she just does the little things. She makes the game smoother, more fluid with the way that she just puts the ball where it needs to be right away.
It is not easy to play with a star, right? And Kate Martin had that experience of playing with Caitlin Clark. So now when she comes into the W, she understands where the ball needs to get to, and when those options aren't there, she also is a bucket for herself.
So you're telling me Chelsea Gray gets a little help in the back court as well. That's a scary thing to think.
Well, you think about it, when you look at the starting lineup with Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young, they are all point guards in their own right. And then you bring in a rookie like Kate Martin that already comes with a high basketball IQ. I mean, that's just, look, that's putting that cherry on top.
When we look at the league historically, right, we've heard it, all right? The first team to win back-to-back championships in 21 years. And when we had the first 6 years of the league, like, okay, the Comets win 4 in a row, then the Sparks win, and then a different team wins the championship every year. Explain historically what it means and how difficult it is to repeat in the WNBA and how the Aces were able to do it.
When you talk about repeating in the WNBA now, you have to look at these rosters across the league and the talent now that is in the league. We have women in the league now that were babies when the league started, if they were even born, some of them. And so they grew up now, like the Cheryl Swoops, the Cynthia Coopers, the Tina Thompsons, they were watching the NBA. Now these young women that are on the floor now, they grew up watching Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Simone Augustus, Sylvia Fowles, and that's how they've implemented their game. There's one thing to talk about wanting to be in the WNBA, but willing to do what it takes. And that preparation, these women have come into the league and they're ready.
Well, how poetic is this? When you say that, I think of A'ja Wilson, who is 27 years old. The league has been around 27 years, so it's just poetic that a star like that fits that same bill that you're talking about, Angel.
Well, when you talk about A'ja Wilson being a star, let's really talk about how great a star she is. Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, you know, she the finals, most outstanding player. Like A'ja Wilson can, look, her accolades speak for itself. And every year she brings something a little different, a little added advantage, a little added little trick in her bag. And I'm excited to see what that will be this season.
I was going to ask you, for those that think that what A'ja Wilson does is just easy work, can you explain watching her step on the court every single day, whether it be every single night, and for some reason there aren't many defenses that can stop her? What goes into it her making it look so easy?
Okay, you got to start first with Roscoe and Eva, her mom and daddy.
Okay.
Because they have instilled the confidence and the character by which A'ja carries herself and understands you don't get anything given to you. You got to go earn it. So the work that she puts in, I think a lot of where A'ja is able to then have success on the court, watch her this season and watch her from the waist down. The strength that A'ja Wilson has in her lower body allows her to have such great body control. And the conditioning that she's in allows her to get up and down the floor. She was one of the first that I saw in blocking shots, not with one hand, but with two. She brings that vertical wall. And I think that all comes from her conditioning, her core strength, and the base of muscle that she has.
We should note that Kelsey Plum is on the sidelines and has taken her right sneaker off. I don't know exactly what's happening with her, but Angel, whenever we see something like that, we got to pay attention.
Well, let me tell you, I've watched this team a lot.
I don't know if we're just tired.
There aren't too many people tougher than Kelsey Plum.
Today is tiring.
So it'll be a matter
It's a
of
long day. You guys are on your feet a
take
lot.
the sock off. You might tape it. You might just change the sock. But KP, it's going to take a lot to keep her off the floor.
I do need to make a couple free throws. You guys can pick one person, and it's for a suicide.
Oof.
One person.
Secretly, you're like, oh, don't pick me, please.
It's for a suicide.
comes
This
off
is for a
of-
suicide.
I told you.
Comes
Run
off
in
the
straight
bench,
lines.
puts
That way
the
I
shoe
know you
on.
guys will stay away
I'll
from
do
each
it.
other's feet.
This is for a suicide.
Anybody
Here
that
we
would
go.
want to be right there is Kelsey Plum.
You got to make two.
For everyone watching at home, you got to understand she's shooting a free throw to stop the team. She has to make these free throws, otherwise the entire team.
Is that what you
has
were
to
just
run
wiping?
suicide.
Is that what
And
you just
everybody
wiping on my
pick her
pants?
first.
And also, the point guard comes over and says, I'll
we
be
go.
the passer for this as well. So it's a lot of dynamics going into this one.
Okay, when
Sick
you watch this
individual.
season, if there is a technical foul to be shot, who's going to run to the line? It's going to be Kelsey Plum.
Bring it in, bring
Did
it
it
in.
touch the rim at all? I don't think so. But that's just why she's who she is. I loved what A'ja Wilson was talking about, just seeing her, how she evolved in game 4 of the finals. She said, that is exactly what we want, that toughness. She's showing everybody. She's usually off to the side, the second, guard, that 2 guard. But when she stepped in for Chelsea Gray, we saw that heart, we saw that efficiency. It's been so much fun to see her get up.
Okay.
Kelsey Plum is one that is ready to
Let's
step
regroup a little
up
bit.
for
good thing
the
is,
moment. But the whole team did,
we had
having Chelsea
I'll call it
Gray
a
not able to
tenacious
play.
attitude on defense, which I like. Okay, I like that. Okay, so we had some carryover. I just called the practice.
All right, thank you again, Carolyn Peck, for hanging out with us here on Real Training Camp. When we come back, we're going to talk to that